I would have been 2, 4, 5, 6.
State of the Save is back in your headphones or on your car radio or whatever you do when you listen to this show. It is good to be back. We had a week off, no Foul Corrupted last week, but that's okay. Like I said, those were not always going to be an every week thing.
It was Mother's Day. What did you want?
Yeah, it was Mother's Day. We had mamas to go hug. Hopefully you hugged your mama. If you not, I hope you had a good Sunday anyway. With me, Michael. Man, what's up? How you?
I'm doing all right.
We're both very tired today, Michael.
Yes, we are. It's this surprisingly not too bad of a late night recording, but just
the sun's still up, but the ward is still tiring.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to be back on the show. I missed doing it last week. Last week was the first week we didn't do a show in like a month.
Yeah, it was. The amount of content we put out was like exhausting. I'm kind of glad we had this week off too.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing the Foul Corrupted shows. They're kind of some of my favorite shows, but at the same time, we needed a break so we could come up with more cool ideas and stuff.
Woo!
Woo! But on the top, let's make sure that everybody actually heard our last episode. We found out through the grapevine that iTunes has been having some issues. And if you are not subscribed to the show, first of all, what's wrong with you? Second of all, if you're not subscribed to the show, you did not see our last episode, which was Resident Evil Part 2, Resident Evil 7 Part 2, which was, if I do say so myself, a damn fine episode. For some reason, iTunes is acting weird, so until they can get their shit together, you have a couple of options. One, you can listen to the show on many of the other podcasting platforms that we're on.
Or two, you could subscribe and then see the episode appear in your podcast feed.
Which would be even better.
This is not a ploy, but
it's sort of a ploy.
Kind of.
What we're doing is, we had a very angry rant about how mad we were at Apple. And then we're like, you know what? Let's turn this into a chance to get the listeners to go subscribe on the Apple Podcast. Or all the other podcasting apps that we're on. Because God knows we're on all of them. I believe we are still the #1 video game podcast on Pocket Cast.
We have not been disproven until we get somebody to say you are not the number. I haven't seen a chart. Have you seen a chart?
I have not seen a chart.
So we can't be disproven.
Billy Gunn Pocket Cast never sent me an email saying you're not the #1 podcast on Pocket Cast. If you would like to send me an email saying that we're not the #1 podcast on Pocket Cast,
we'll read it on the show.
You can also send that to stateofthesave@gmail.com, where we read your email claiming that we're not the #1 podcast on the Pocket Cast app. See, Michael, that was a high quality segue.
That was good.
That's why not only am I attractive, but also a damn fine host.
Two things that also cannot be disproven.
Cannot be disproven. Man, off the bat. So, what you been doing, Michael? What you been playing?
I have been trying to clear out my backlog for another game that releases very soon from the time we are recording this, like hours from now. So I have went back and I have finally finished something that's been on my plate since the beginning of February. Persona 5 Royal is done.
Woohoo!
I have conquered final bosses, plural.
My favorite thing was your Discord message that says, I beat it! And then, ... like about 2 minutes later, oh no, there's another boss! Also, I'm not entirely convinced, I told you this when you came into the house today, that I'm pretty sure you're going to get a text message or a phone call any minute now. And it's going to be the Persona people being like, surprise! The final boss is real life! And then some guy's going to run in and fight you. And you're going to have to fight to the death. Like, I'm pretty sure you're not done with Persona
But the music
5.
will slap.
Oh, it'd be great.
I want to hear that boss theme.
It'll come out of nowhere.
A Phantom Thief's calling card will appear in front of the vent below us. It says, we're going to take your heart. And I'll be like, oh no, I'm the final boss!
I might need to get my air conditioning ducts checked if that's true. Man, I'm glad that you beat that thing. That's been a quest for you for the past, 4 months?
What a game. What a game.
I'm going to ask I think you're going to, I actually think you were talking to some listeners about doing a Foul Corrupted on Persona 5.
I have one on board, or so they say. if you are a listener and have a podcast set up, you can email me and we can I'm going to try to assemble my own team of Phantom Thieves to discuss Persona 5 Royal, because I need to sit on a microphone and talk about that game for a bit, because what is that game? I love that game. That game is nuts. It's going to be a long time before I dive back into that game if I ever want to go back to do New Game Plus. Oh, man.
Here's what I'm going to say, though, as host, and this is me, like, I pulled you guys all to the side. Like, Michael's over there. We're going to come over here to the side. Guys, I ain't going to let him do, like, a 5-part Persona show, right? It's going to be a one-time thing, okay? We're going to keep this limited to, like, a one-time File Corrupted. Because if not, next thing you know, this is just going to be State of Persona. Yeah, I'm not gonna let that happen.
Welcome to part 62. We are in October now. still got about half the year to go. It's autumn.
Like y'all won't tell them that we had this discussion. But we'll hey, Mike, what's up?
Hey, how's it going?
These are audio gags that I really hope play on audio, because if not, they're just really, really stupid. Man, that's been your thing, right? You haven't been playing anything else.
A weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. That sounds like a negative connotation. It really does, but any game that can keep me invested I clocked out at 94 hours. Yeah, it succeeded on all the fronts. I still debating in my head if I like this or Persona 4 better. To discuss my thoughts on the matter would take probably an hour.
We're just gonna leave that for that File Corrupted episode.
Yeah, Persona 5, really good. If you have a PS5, you can play the base game for free, but I highly recommend Royal, because that last semester you get has some of the best story content, the best characters, and the best villain in the entire game.
That's pretty
all
cool.
In that last bit. It's so compelling.
I get what you're saying about feeling like a weight lifted, because even if you really, really love something, like, you know, you read like a really, really good book, you play a really long video game, or watch a really long movie, it can just be draining. It's an emotional drain on you, and it's a commitment that you completed. So, you know, I get what you're saying. Like, it can be like a dual feeling of like, man, that was really great, and I love that. Boy, am I glad that's over.
It's the same feeling I had when I finished Dune for the first time last year, because that book is incredibly dense, incredibly long. Any book with a glossary of terms is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So that I feel the same way. Although Persona 5 I wouldn't call quite as dense as Dune, but it's definitely probably as long as reading that book.
If you read like the Silmarillion by J.R. Tolkien and stuff like that, it's like when you're done, you're like, hey, I'm really glad I invested that time and energy into that. But boy, am I not going to do that anytime soon. But yeah, like I'm glad you did it, man. That's a commitment. That's a video game. That's a freaking like a level of commitment that I don't really have towards most stuff. So I'm proud of you, man.
Now I add Strikers to my wish list, and I wait for that to go on sale.
Right,
there's a DLC for Strikers that has every single battle theme in it. So you can go around and steal people's hearts to reach out to the truth and wiping all out, stuff like that.
Which, if you have not listened to the File Corrupted episode on all the Persona music, where we rank the top 20, or Michael's top 20, my top 5. Very, very good episode. It was really, really fun. Only thing I've been playing, Apex has released a new season. I was out for two seasons, Michael. I was out.
How long is the season?
A few months.
Okay.
I'd say I would have been out for maybe 6 months.
Okay. 5
to 6 months. And new season gets teased. I don't care. I'm not paying no attention. Shows it got bow and arrow. I said, oh, that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Then it shows that the new character has direct ties to a character from Titanfall 2. And I said, okay, you got me, you son of a bitch.
You go on?
Yeah, it's direct ties. Like, it's the daughter of, her name's Valkyrie. The character's name just left my head. But it's a direct tie to Titanfall 2. It's a direct tie to the character from Titanfall 2.
Is it Cooper, the main character?
No, not Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be really freaking cool. But she actually even has his equipment from Titanfall 2. It's a cool thing.
That's cool.
And they released a mode called Arena, which is basically like a Counter-Strike, Valiant style purchase weapons with money that you earn between rounds, like 3-on-3 match. That is very, very addictive. So
sounds a lot more fast paced than the.
Oh yeah, like, you know, What actually kind of broke me from Apex was the new map was just a little bit too big, and it was a little bit too much time between fights, which was not what I came for Apex. I wanted, like, Apex was my fast-paced battle royale, and so that's what kind of made me fall off the train. And this arena mode is a great, like, hey, you got 20 minutes, jump in, play a couple of matches. And it's that same thing like with Counter-Strike, where it's like, hey, you start off with very little amount of money, but as you get kills and as you win rounds, you earn more money, allows you to buy, better weapons, better equipment, and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's pretty freaking fun. So I'm back on the Apex train. But one thing we were talking about before the show, there's a freaking ton of video games coming out, Michael. Like, a ton of good video games.
Yes.
So, like, in a few hours, the Mass Effect collection will drop. I think it looks to be maybe 5 hours here on the East Coast.
That is sitting on my homepage, and I am way too tired to start the campaign tonight. So as soon as I get home from work tomorrow, I am just going to make that my weekends.
That's just going to be the commitment.
Yes.
Now, the key is, can you race through Mass Effect 1 to get the Mass Effect 2?
I don't know if I want to. Just because of all the new stuff they added, I'm like, I kind of want to take my time with 1. I say that now, and then I'll be like, ooh, 2 is...
But 2, Mike.
2's the best game ever made.
Ooh, that's a debate, but... maybe top 5.
Resident Evil 4 is to Eric what Mass Effect 2 is to Michael.
Yeah.
I will bring that game up every chance I get.
I love Mass Effect 2, but it ain't no Resident Evil 4. Speaking of which, my game I'm going to be playing pretty soon is Resident Evil 8. I told myself, we just finished Resident Evil 7. I'm not going to jump into the Resident Evil 8 yet. And then the game came out, some footage got leaked, I saw some stuff.
Footage got leaked.
Not leaked, but like, so dude is real. I'm real tired, man. That's the story of this show now. Is just two tired people talking about video games. But people compared it to what Resident Evil 4 is for the Resident Evil 7 trilogy. There's a lot more kind of action-packed kind of craziness going on, and I gotta get it, man. I gotta play that game. So that's gonna be played very, very soon. That's probably this weekend purchase for me, myself. I'm gonna probably start jumping back into the role of Ethan.
Everything about that game looks so good. When I saw a tweet that was like, make video games dumb again, and was like, and showed Resident Evil 8. So I was like, oh man, does this game go dumb?
Well, like,
that's my favorite type of Resident Evil, when we get dumb.
One of the things I saw was like the Duke, who is your like weapon vendor, who is the what you buy and what you selling guy from Resident Evil 4.
Makes sense. Straight
up makes a reference every time you go. You can go up there. He'll be like, "What you buying?"
Okay.
And then what you like? He's like they making. There's a line apparently. A friend of mine told me there was a line in which they call Chris a dumb rock punching idiot.
Awesome.
Like it's just like filled of like references and stuff. Like I want, Resident Evil 8. Like,
hey, did 7 give you a heart attack? Now we're here to have fun, but also give you a heart attack.
Apparently, it's still pretty creepy, but not nearly as bad as 7. So like 7's like an 8, 9 on the creepy scale. Resident Evil 8 looks to be a little bit low on that.
Okay,
so I think I'm good to jump in.
I like a good jump every now and then. I don't like being relentlessly in a corner, rocking myself to.
7 was long. It was a deep.
Oh man!
It was a deep fear that I had to face in 7. 8 seems to be a little bit more light. But also, man, like real quick before we jump into our discussion today on Bastion, which is our game, for this week. I probably should have said that up front. What's some other stuff coming out in this summer that you're looking forward to?
I really want to see what Biomutant is.
Biomutant looks really, really cool.
I saw that there was a character customization, and you make what looks like a cat. I'm like, I'm all in. I haven't customized a cat in game since Monster Hunter World.
So this will be your first time you customize one in a game that's good.
How dare you? That game just passed like 20, 30 million copies or something ridiculous.
A lot of people made bad decisions, Michael. Let's move on. Biomutant.
I can't. Biomutant was really fun. And Scarlet Nexus. Everything I see about Scarlet Nexus looks really cool.
You sent the the trailer, I guess, to me on Discord, and it looked pretty fun. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
It looks like a hack and slash, but you have a control style environmental throw thing. So I'm like, this seems awesome. I might check this out when it's on sale.
Yeah, when it's on sale.
I barely buy games at. I only buy like sure things now. Ever since Mass Effect Andromeda, I only buy sure things.
There's some things I have to get like right from the get go, because for me it's it's almost a it's like just something that like Resident Evil 8 is going to be a full price purchase for me. I know I want to play it and I'm not willing to wait.
If nothing will slay me on launch day, like if someone comes out and says, "Oh, this game is buggy," I'll be like, "I don't care." Like, if Animal Crossing came out and went, "This game's a buggy mess," I'll be like, "I don't care."
Like Resident Evil 8, you would have to come out and tell me pretty hard, like, this is a mistake, like bad. Like, I don't pre-order anything, but so like the day it comes out, if I don't hear. Well, let me clarify.
This is a different tune from this is a very different tune from the Eric we heard in November going, Cyberpunk seems alright, guys.
Yeah, that was before Cyberpunk. Okay, I don't pre-order anything anymore, alright? Jesus. But there's a few things coming out other than Resident Evil 8 I'm really looking forward to. You see the Hood Outlaws Legends. I showed you that.
You showed me some gameplay and that looks alright.
It's like a 4v4v...
PvPvE is what it was described as.
Well, it's a team of 4 and another team of 4 competing to try to rob treasure from a like castles and stuff like that, like a medieval setting. So it's like you're eventually going to have to stop the other team from securing the treasure, but you're also having to navigate the AI opponents and stuff like that. And what made me be drawn to that was I was on the YouTube channel looking at Warhammer Underworld Hired Gun, which comes out June 1st, and it looks like a Warhammer game that is basically like a Doom ripoff. And Michael, what's two things I really, really love?
Doom and Warhammer.
Yes! So that thing looks like... Listen... It's from Focus Interactive, I think is the publisher, who did like World War Z.
Okay.
Which is a surprisingly good video game. Like, people don't really, I don't think, know how good that game actually is. But that game is one that it's very, very tempting for me, not on June 1st, just to purchase that thing, just off the fact that it looks like a really good shooter in the Warhammer universe. And there's a very good chance on the show after June 1st, I might be like, man, this thing's pretty terrible. But that's going to be a purchase. And both of those games are also $30 purchases.
Wait, the Hood is only $30? Okay.
There's like there's other editions. But the baseline version is $29.99. And so is the Hired Gun, Warhammer Hired Gun. So like
Hood is out, right? Like that just came out?
Came out this week.
Gotcha.
Came out alongside RE8.
That game strikes me as one that's going to be on either the Games with Gold or the PlayStation Plus in like half a year to a full year.
I think it'll be on Game Pass. But
yeah,
if it's anything like...
that's where I play all my multiplayer games now.
Yeah. But also, if it's anything like World War Z, that game got supported for a long, long time. Like, that was like 2 years of support behind that World War Z game. And then when it went to Game Pass, it was like, basically, you could see, like, hey, man, when that game switched over, there was a huge community there. Like, I played it when it hit Game Pass, and, like, I had no problems finding players or anything like that. And it was kind of really flushed out. A lot of free content was given away.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that game might catch on with some people and we can see it. It looks really cool. I think I might grab it. Also, $30, man. Mm-hmm. I can justify $30 on launch day. Something about 60. It's just like I feel like I gotta know it's a sure thing.
It's gotta be a known quantity.
It's a sure thing. But 30, I can hey, it's Friday, it's payday. Let's throw 30 down and buy a video game.
There's one more game I want to talk about coming out in June.
What you got?
It is Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrade.
which is part 2 of this long Final
No,
Fantasy.
it is not part 2.
No,
it's
it's not.
It's the PS5 upgrade to Final Fantasy VII Remake with some DLC. They remastered a remake!
Literally less than 2 years later.
Less than a year.
Less than a year later, they remastered a remake. You know what? Good for them. Good for them.
And then have a whole bunch of Final Fantasy. I saw that someone's doing a Final Fantasy VII anime now. So Final Fantasy VII, R.I.P. to the fans of Final Fantasy VI who got a mobile port a few years back. And that's for people who say that's the best Final Fantasy.
You know what though? R.I.P. to those people from the moment Final Fantasy VII came out. Like when Final Fantasy VII came out, a lot of people forgot that there was 6 other ones. I mean, it was a thing. You remember back in like 10, 12 years ago when people would be like, "Boy, I wish they remade Final Fantasy VII. That'll never happen." Like, and then
that was like they can't stop remaking Final Fantasy VII.
Now it's like the monkey claw or monkey hand thing where it's like,
I don't know.
"Ha, you now never do you get to play anything but Final Fantasy VII Remake."
That 7 Remake was great. I played about 8 hours of it, and then they did a state of play where it's like, hey, there's a 60 frames per second 4K PS5 patch coming in June that's free if you bought the game. I'm like, alright, I'll stop this. Because that seems like the superior way to play the game.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just put this to the back burner. Let's check out some more Spider-Man, and we'll see where this goes.
There's some other there's a lot of interesting games coming out. Like I think Chivalry 2 comes out next month. When does Back for Blood come out? Which is
I feel like that game is just in a perpetual state of being coming soon.
Yeah, like I heard it was this summer, and now like I don't know, like that. I love Left 4 Dead is a really good, those 2 solid games, and I'm curious about that thing, but I no longer trust any of that whole made by the team that made Left 4 Dead, because it could be like 2 guys, you don't
remember Evolve,
which was also made by the team that made Left 4 Dead. See how Evolve went.
I played like 2 rounds of that and went, this is a thing.
I knew a guy who pre-ordered Evolve. Oh. And he's the same guy who pre-ordered Anthem.
Oh no!
Yeah, he makes a lot of good decisions.
Oh, so basically, if he pre-orders it, cancel immediately because he's cursed forever.
Yeah, I never understood him. Nice guy, but never understood those decisions. There's a ton of cool video games coming out, but it's time to talk about one particular video game. A video game we're all here to discuss. That's my drum roll.
You tried to think of a joke, but couldn't think of one.
I had to stall quick, guys. I had to stall quick. No, we're here to talk about Bastion, which is a first release game of Supergiant Games, indie game on every single platform imaginable. Woo. You can play it anywhere.
You can buy it for the Google Chrome browser.
You could probably play it in Flash. If Flash was a thing still. Bastion, man. We were excited about this. I had just came off of playing Hades this year, or the beginning of this year, late last year, and really enjoyed Hades. And we wanted to go back, play this game. Supergiant's a studio that I think both of us kind of have a well wishes for. We hope the best for them because of their connection to our arguably favorite video game website, Giant Bomb. So
very, very interesting timing for us picking this game. If you're a fan of Giant Bomb,
I thought about doing this. We almost did a very quick File Corrupted on Giant Bomb. Nothing but the best wishes for Giant Bomb, but they've lost another 3 guys to leaving the site, and we're not going to go into it deep or nothing. But
if you know about Giant Bomb, you know about that.
It bummed us all out. It was a tough time among the friendship around State of the Save. The extended State of the Save family was really bummed, but nothing but the best of wishes to all those guys. I hope nothing but great things for them. But because of that, we kind of were excited about trying Bastion. I hopped down. I had some time, kind of a lazy Saturday afternoon, played some, and the first thought that went through my head was, I have nothing to say about this game.
I thought of a similar thing too. I was like, this gameplay's solid. This combat's really tight. I really like it. Is this all there is to it?
But then, when you finish Bastion, I had to go sit down and record a 15-minute get my thoughts together to get ready for this show. Because when I finished Bastion, I finished it a week ago. I had to get my thoughts together right then because it is a very thought-provoking game.
It's like, as soon as it clicks, it's like all the light bulbs go off, and you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to sound really pretentious, but this game is a work of art, and I mean that in, like, a literal sense. As in, like, you can't just look at, like, a corner of an art piece and go, I understand the whole thing. You have to look at the whole work itself. More than a lot of other games of this type. Once you see the whole thing in front of you, that's when everything connects, and you're like, oh, Bastion. That's a game, man.
We're gonna say this, like, we're gonna be getting high and mighty on our thoughts on this game because it is a game that is very thought provoking, and like we've played. My favorite thing about doing this show, other than the listeners who enjoy the show and getting to see cool stuff from y'all and hear cool things from y'all, my favorite thing is that it makes me finish these kinds of games, because if I was not doing this for this show, I would have probably played that first hour, went like, and
I'm going back to Hades.
Yes, exactly. And I'll tell you why in a second. But because we were doing this show, I had to stick it out, and then I got to actually really experience something that was actually emotionally touching. You ever played Braid?
I have not played Braid.
Okay, so Braid is a game in which you could just run through the platforming levels, not complete the extra stuff that's needed to actually get to the ending of Braid, and you would miss the entire point. But if you spend the time to get all the stuff that you need to do, you'll get to the ending, and the ending is actually very touching and at the time felt very unique, and I didn't see it coming at the time. Do you know the ending of Braid?
I do not.
Okay, I will not spoil it.
That's a game that's always like, I should play that.
Maybe one day
did.
Maybe one day we'll play Braid. Like, it's a game that we could probably do as a one shot.
I don't touch like story games or anything interesting anymore because I'm always like, we should play that for the show. Yeah, for everything now.
We could one day. Braid might be something we play, but this is very reminiscent of that to me. Where when it clicks, it just bam, and it kicks you in the face in a good way of like, man, this somebody put some freaking thought into this. This is really good.
Exactly. Yes.
So we're going to divide this up. At the beginning, we're going to talk about playing the game Bastion, and then we're going to talk about the story and the emotional stuff behind it and the subtext and all that stuff. So, because they're two different things. You talked about going back and playing Hades. To me, if you haven't played Hades.
I haven't, no. This is my first Supergiant game.
Hades has a similar style action to this. The camera's in a similar place. You have like a roll attack. You have usually two weapons that you're manning. The weapons vary up. You can get upgrades for them. Its feel is very similar to this. Hades is significantly faster and a little bit more, and just a lot more tight. They're more experienced as a developer. But when I started playing Bastion, I was like, this is Hades combat, but not quite as good. And also the environment being entirely something you can fall off of. In Hades, I'm like, you diving around left and right, rolling, sprinting, doing all this stuff. And in Bastion, you do that kind of real quick movement and try to like super game this thing. You're going to fall off a lot, and boy, is that frustrating.
You have to get a sense that for a lot of the world, it's all on the same plane. Because there were some instances in the early game where I was like, oh, I see what I need to do. There's a ladder there that I can't climb down. I just need to walk off the edge and I'll be on this platform. Falls immediately down a hole. Okay, no, I need to find another way to get there.
Yeah, you have to
Once you get a feel for how the gravity kind of functions in this game, then like the layout begins to make a lot more sense.
There's also the fact that, for me, the most interesting and the most fun weapons to play with are about 2 hours into the game. So I did not enjoy using like the hammer or the bow. Those weren't weapons that I really enjoyed. What I ended up using the most was the dual revolvers.
Yes, that was my gun. That was my guns too. And the hammer.
Spear. I used the spear.
The spear, okay. I upgraded that base hammer and those guns because I liked having something that I could do a lot of damage close range, but also pick out people far. Yeah. Pick out enemies far away. So I had that I like having that good balance of short range and long range. So that way I feel like I was never overwhelmed. And once I got those, I just want to say this game is surprisingly, I don't want mean this in a negative connotation at all, easy. Yes. I did not. The only time I died to the point where I lost my chances. Now, I did have the upgrade, the kind of perk to where I got an additional chance. So I had 2 chances after I died. So the only time I used it the first time was whenever I was doing the horde mode thing. I forgot. Who knows where?
It's it's basically the story of the kid, the main character.
Yeah. That section was the only time that I died. The other time, for the rest of the game, I did not burn either of my chances. I don't even know if this game has a game over screen or what it does to you.
I think I might have died on one of the bosses, quote unquote.
Gotcha.
And then I did fail on the who knows where section, which is like the story of the kid, because I went into that right when I got it, when I got the ability to do it, and I didn't have weapons that I was really enjoying using and felt good with. So once I got some weapons that I felt pretty confident with, I think I got actually the musket, and I think I did it with the musket and the spear. But once I got some weapons I felt comfortable with, I was able to go back in and beat that. But it was not a very hard game, especially when you get some of those upgrades that kind of toughen you up a little bit. You can when you get the upgrade that doesn't take a lot of damage from falling off the map, you can be a little bit more loose with stuff. It's not a very complicated game either. Like, even the weapons, some of the weapons get to the point that they take some skill, like the mortal, the mortar launcher.
I do like the mortar a lot.
Yeah, like those are more skill-based weapons, and I enjoyed using those. But this game is not, to me, something I would ever go back and play. Now that I've experienced it, there's no reason for me, I'm not going to go back and just, play Bastion because the moment-to-moment gameplay. I think Bastion's it's like a film that you go see that emotionally touches you, but you don't feel the need to go watch it again.
Not immediately, but I wonder if in maybe a couple of years I would like to go back and maybe try this again on New Game Plus on if I can crank up the difficulty. But at that point, I feel like maybe I'll just try some of other Supergiant's offerings for a challenge or an evolution of their gameplay style, because I love what they did here, and now I'm very excited to see them iterate on it, because this being my first Supergiant game, I texted you and went, man, this combat feels tight. The snap-on to shooting, the snapping of the shield, how it immediately goes to the closest thing, and when that timing window is pretty big for when you parry, but it feels good when you nail that. Just being able to snap from a shield to a melee weapon to your pistols, all in a span of not even a second or two, feels so good and so snappy that I'm excited to play other games from them, because if they nailed it on the first time, if they can tweak and improve it, that'd be great. I imagine if you go back to it.
That's Hades, man. Yeah. I went back to Hades after this because I finished Bastion, and I was like, man, good on Supergiant. Y'all made something here. And I went back to Hades, and Hades has that same level of craft. That's something that I'm going to probably play their entire catalog, because they've made 4 games?
Yes.
So I've only got 2 I haven't played. I'm going to play those because they're kind of reminding me now of what Respawn is to me. Well, Respawn comes out with something, I'm going to try it.
Where Titanfall 1 was I was when I played Titanfall 1, I was it's a little rough around the edges, but there's something really
if it's a proof of concept, this works.
But then when you play Titanfall 2, you're they got it, they nailed it, they perfected it.
And then they did something like Fallen Order, which we're both Star Wars guys, but Fallen Order was completely different the same level of just like, they did something here. This is good. This feels right. Even they did that Medal of Honor VR game that they did.
That won an Oscar.
Which apparently is very good, though. Like, I've watched some footage of it. It looks to be a fun freaking VR game. So, Supergiant reminds me of a similar developer like Respawn, where it's like, if they do something, I'm going to at least give it a fighting chance now. But, dude, Hades...
I'm that same way. Like, I want to play their entire catalog after this.
I think I'm going to play the entire catalog. This is really has connected me. Couple of things real quick about the story. You know, the loop of this game is very much go out into the world, go to a place, get something, bring it back.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me a lot of the first Bayonetta.
Yes, it is.
Because you go to a new environment, you kill everything in that environment, but also the bit where you get the combat challenges, where it encourages you to try out each weapon, so you learn how to use it in the most ridiculous scenarios, so that you're like, oh, I figure out how to like make combo chains out of these. For like a bayonet, for this you're like, oh, I know a good pairing. Like for the pistols, I need something to cover me close range. That's why I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with the hammer. So it was a good experimentation aspect of it. So that's why I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of the first Bayonetta in a lot of ways.
They do something similar in Hades, but in Hades, when you unlock new weapons, there was a guy who's literally this like little peon guy, and it's just a room with him in it. You can just try the weapon out on him. So if like when you get the shield for the first time, you can learn that the shield ricochets, and you can try to ricochet off the wall and hit him on the backswing, and it's that was really a well done part, because it lets you explore the weapon before you get really deep into something where you're like, oh crap, I got this gun that I hate. Like, you were able to try it out a bunch, see how you feel about it, see if it's something that grows on you.
And then if you do good enough to get to the second one, I think the second one for each one is where you get an upgrade attachment for that particular weapon.
Yes.
So then you're like rewarded for experimenting with it. Like, oh, I know I upgraded, so now I'm more enticed to use this in battle because I either got bigger range or more damage, so
or faster speed or whatever. Like, no, you're 100% right. And also, it says, hey, you're good with this weapon. Here's an upgrade to make you want to be better. Like, it's a really well thought out. I kept thinking this is a first game developed by these people, and it was almost infuriating.
They got like 85% of the way there on their first try.
No, like, dude, it was so
like,
infuriating.
Gameplay wise.
Like, I sat there, like, I say that infuriating, but like, understand, like, both me and you have done a bunch of like creative projects in our lives. Like, when you enjoy art, we're gonna get very high-minded on this episode. Everybody get used to it. When you enjoy art, you naturally should want to go create your own art. And we've all had the times where we've made something and been like, that's not nearly as good as I hoped it was going to be. And, like, the fact that these guys went out to make a game as a studio, first-time developer for, together, and they came out with this is a pretty damn first game. Like, for a bunch of guys who, a lot of them did not have experience in game development.
It's like Weezer making the Blue album. It's like, you got it.
Like, one of my favorite bands of all time is the Alkaline Trio. And their first album, God Damn It, is a good album. But it's not an album that, like, if you're not a big fan of that band, you're going to really love. Like, if you super love the band, you're going to like it. But it takes them, like, I guess, I think the third album, From Here to Infirmary, is their, like, when they really click. So it took them a couple albums to really kind of get their groove. Like, this, the fact that they come out and they're like, bam, right out the gate, here's Bastion. It's like, damn, man, y'all shouldn't be able to do this. Y'all should struggle a little bit. Make it hard. Make it look hard.
And the fact that this was a $15 game that came out in like 2011 on like an indie space. This is
like
around the time of like the like Super Meat Boys of the world, like
and
Raids and Fez. Like this was around that like same time. So this
Indie Game the movie.
Yes,
check out that thing.
That was a really good movie.
A lot of those games are the contemporaries for this, but like. This is a lot more in-depth than Super Meat Boy. I like Super Meat Boy, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more in-depth than that. It's a lot more in-depth than
There's a lot more
Braid.
mechanics to it. I mean, Super Meat Boy does one thing perfect.
Yeah,
and this does like 10 things very, very, very well.
Very, very good way of putting that. art style wise is pretty good. I'm not a big fan of the chibi kind of style, you know.
I don't mind the character models. It took me a while to get used to like the animations because I thought it would like run at like a. I don't know what the frame rate is looking at it.
It seems like it varies.
It's weird.
Like
I don't know if that's just because we're playing on the Switch and Switch does some weird stuff with frame rates for some games occasionally, but it felt like a stylistic choice. It didn't feel like choppy at all in any way.
Some of the enemies have like a weird frame that is designed to let you be able to parry them or block them or dodge them.
The gas enemies with the pickaxe, it looks like those are almost animated through stop motion, kind of. Like they're wind up and their release of their pickaxe has like a
it's a frame for the back and like 2 frames for the swing, so it's not very smooth. One of the biggest things also from a design point of view, because also coming from Hades has some beautiful character designs, and the art in Hades is freaking amazing. Everybody is too sexy in Hades. Even if they're not.
That's what I hear. I'm told
everybody is too sexy in Hades.
I was going through video game TikTok and everybody's like, "This game is a bisexual dream because everybody's cut, freaking looking great." But like even the enemies, like the enemies are really kind of, they look visually interesting. To hear the enemies are kind of boring to me. That's one of the things that first hour that really kind of bummed me. I was like, these are generic. Top-down enemy kind of looking characters. I agree. The enemies are probably my least favorite thing about the game until we get to the end, because they tie the enemies at the end to like the story. Yeah, and there's a lot of emotional weight there. Where it's just like, these are just monsters, and I'm like, okay, I fought monsters before.
Yes,
There's no like tied to them like in a Metroid game. Whenever you fight weird monsters, I'm not asking for them to be tied to the story, because you're fighting weird-looking monsters because you're isolating on this alien planet. But this game being like, it's isolating, but in a different way.
Well, it's lonely. It's meant to be lonely. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about now that we get the gameplay stuff.
We talked a lot about the gameplay. Yeah,
more than I thought we would, but it's good. It's good stuff. Let's talk about the story / message behind Bastion. So one thing we didn't bring up was the narrator that narrates the entire story of the kid who's your character from the very beginning. The
audio design in this game, I'm just going to get out there. The soundtrack's phenomenal. What
soundtrack's great.
What? That's what else can you say? It's been said to death. The soundtrack in this game is really, really, really good.
There's 2 voices in this game.
When the second one popped up, I was like, "Hey!"
Scared the flip out of me. I was like, "What the heck happened?" No, but like the narrator at first was too much for me. Before I really was invested, I was like, "I get it," and I thought it was like a one-note joke.
I did like right out of the gate. I was like, I was wondering what the extent of the narrator would be, and then I circled back to get an item, and then the narrator commented like, "He stayed here for a little longer than one would anticipate," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." Like the way he comments on your actions was something I did not anticipate, and was something I found really cool right out of the gate.
Also, when you fall off of stuff and things like that, depending on the circumstances of it.
Kind of a Prince of Persia, like, oh, didn't mean to go that way. Yeah. That's not how it happened. Except he was like, oh, he fell off of here, but it turned out he was all right.
Yeah. But, the kid and the narrator and this whole story kind of kicks off with the concept that the kid is one of the very few survivors of what's called the Calamity. And the Calamity is this vague thing that is never fully explained, but it boils down to that the world basically crumbled underneath the feet of the kid and collapsed. Which explains also how the environment works in this game, that as you progress, tiles physically come in from the ceiling to build out your walk path, which is a cool visual. Mm-hmm. And it also explains why everything is on this like elevated platform. But what is a very simple concept at first, that like the kid wakes up and he's a survivor of the Calamity. And
the game throws out so many terms at you at the beginning. Right away is like, the kid needs to get to the Bastion. And I'm like, I don't know what the Bastion is. And like, the Calamity. It throws out all of these terms at you, which sometimes, it varies. Sometimes that's a bad thing where you're like, I don't know what to do with these many phrases. There's a really good video on how the beginning of Skyrim just fumbles everything because it literally spits out like 20 different terms that you can't grasp. Like, storm cloaks, the Red Guard, the Imperials, and you're like, what is going on?
you're literally sitting there being like
fed
information.
People. Someone's talking at you. I remember in our Dead Space discussion we talked about the reason why I didn't think Isaac was a good character was because a lot of the time people were just talking at him, and because of that, it's hard for me to relate to any of the characters. But no one's talking at the kid. The narrator's talking to us, the listener,
and we will learn he's actually
and like
talking.
He's presenting the information in a way like we can understand it. Like, even though we don't know what the Bastion is, we're only like a few minutes away from figuring that out. So the information is not fresh in my mind. I'm not trying to remember a name that was fed to me like 3 hours ago.
Well, also he's presenting facts in at times in an intentionally vague way, or at times intentionally leaving out parts.
Which we find out later was because he had a lot of guilt built up.
Yeah, and he's also not exactly willing to give the kid a full rundown of what's happening because he's got an agenda. So you got a biased narrator, basically.
Which at first you think he's just like an omnipotent until you actually run into him.
Yeah, when you meet him, you realize, no, this is a person, and he's not like a god speaking about your adventures.
He's just a guy.
He's just a guy. There is a grand total of 4 characters in this video game. And we're going to be real overview here because I feel like you have to. So the concept of that the kid is going to the Bastion. He meets, I think his name is Rufus?
Zulf. Zulf, Zia, the narrator, and the kid are the 4 characters in this game.
Yes. So the narrator basically explains to him that the way to fix the ward, it's a very straightforward concept at first, is that we need to gain cores to build up the Bastion. And as a gameplay point of view, as you collect cores, you are building up new shops and abilities to upgrade stuff inside your toolkit from the Bastion. From a narrative point of view, you're building up the Bastion to the point that you can use it to fix the ward, fix the calamity, is all you've been told.
You're basically building a small town.
Yes, it's a small town. It's the only part of the game that is like a big space that's not like collapsed and building as you move around it.
It's your homestead. It's something that you build a connection to. It's like the Normandy. It's like something you always go back to and to after each mission to kind of reset, rethink of what you're going to do, and then move on to the next thing.
The other 2 characters that we meet while we're going around collecting cores. Our first character is a member of a different. It doesn't say race necessarily, but it's like a different people or different.
They're different people. They're a different faction. You can look at it from like
a different faction, race, cultural, country, whatever you want to look at it from. We'll use faction for the sake of this conversation.
Everything in this game is very much left open to interpretation, where you can kind of draw a lot of real-world parallels to the conflict between the Caledonians. The
Caledonians, who are the people of the city, who are the people of the kid.
And the Ura, which is Zulf and Zia's people.
Yes. Now, Zulf is from the Ura, right? He was raised by them. He lived with them, correct?
That's correct.
Zia, who is the 4th character that you meet, is actually an Ura who lived in the city among the what's the other people's name? I always mispronounce it.
The Colonians.
We'll say the city. The people that live the city. We'll use the city because that name is something I always will butcher. And we're going to stop every time for me to butcher if I don't. She lived among them. Her father was a major player in what happened here, which is important to separate those two because their perspectives on things are going to be a big factor here.
Because she was an immigrant who came to the city while he was raised by his people. Yeah, and did you mentioned the kids the wave-based story progression? Did you see there's two more, the Zulf and Zia?
I did not.
They do not present it to you in any way. The game doesn't tell you it's there.
Wow, I completely missed that.
Because they make a big deal about the pipe you get. But then there's a pot and there's another item. I had to look it up. I had to look up transcripts. But those go over Zulf and Zia's backstory.
Well, damn.
And I wrote the transcript out for Zulf and Zia. But I highlighted some important lines here from Zia's backstory.
These are basically literally the explanations of the backstories of the characters. So it's a chance, while it's a wave-based kind of level, it's also a chance to explore, like in the main one, you explore the history of the kid, so you can kind of understand who he is.
It recounts their life up to the calamity. Yes. And two important bits I wrote down for Zia. It says, she and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal, returned to the work for the Mancers, and she'd go free. And then she did as she was told, and deep down underground inside the den, she found a journal written by her father's hand. And the next day, the doors to the den turned to ash, and the girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity around her.
Which is
explain how she gets the journal.
That journal is a major factor.
That is the catalyst for whenever the events of the Zulf running off with the journal. That's when the story really gets going.
Yes, for sure. The whole concept of, as you're building out the Bastion, all four of those characters are kind of united in their goal, right?
We're going to build this up, and then we're going to basically restart the world.
We're going to restart the war. Why wouldn't we be united? We all are victims of the calamity, and we're all here to work together to fix it. There's no reason to believe otherwise. But as you've completed the Bastion, you bring back on one of your kind of adventures, you bring back a notebook that was Zia's father's notebook. It's written in the Ura's language, so which she does not speak.
And you and the narrator can't understand it.
Yeah, you and the narrator, because you're both from the city, cannot speak it. Zia cannot speak it because it's her native language, but she doesn't speak it. There's only one person there who does. So when you do the normal thing you've been doing
of showing items
to everybody
and getting the flavor text from it,
you show it to Zulf, and Zulf can read it because he can speak the language. And you go away.
It kind of says he goes quiet, it's in his language.
He goes very quiet. And when you go away and you come back to the Bastion, Zulf has destroyed the Bastion. He is, in your mind and what you're presented as, he's gone mad. He's infuriated because what he has read inside of the journal has basically, in what we will go to learn, has spoiled the fact that he has explained that the city was responsible for the creation of the calamity, basically, of a weapon designed to destroy the Ura.
Because the city and the Ura were at war. I believe they could describe it as a massive generation-long conflict.
There's multiple generations that have fought this war. It's kind of ingrained in both of the cultures. And one thing you'll learn about the kid in his backstory, the kid he was a part of what was called he served on the Wall, which was equivalent to I guess military service for the city. He went out there. He was a scout. Because of the death of his mother, he was the only one who ever served 2 tours on the Wall.
They said no one goes back for a second.
Yeah, we're gonna get into some parallels here, and I'm gonna pause real quick and explain. We're not trying to fight with anybody here, but this game brings up conversations and topics that is almost impossible to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? So we're going to be talking about some things that are supposed to represent things. We're not here to fight with anybody. We all want to have a good old time. But at the same time, it is impossible and is, in my mind, disingenuous to just ignore what the game is trying to show you and teach you.
Exactly.
and it's just disingenuous. So the realization after the journal is kind of out there is that the city was developing a weapon to destroy the Ura because they were in a temporary peace. There was like an unsettled peace going on right now. So is particularly stated that the weapon was a strike that was going to destroy the Ura in like one foul swoop, and that there was a peace going on. So it was not a like defensive weapon. It was not a weapon in a ongoing war among the two. It was we're going to hit them out of nowhere and get rid of them once and for all, which is important to take into consideration with a lot of the things that you will learn about the city from the narrator as you go to the different locations. And there's a lot of ties to the concept that the city is the dominant power in this whole situation. And as you go out deeper into the wilds, the narrator would talk about things like that the city developed colonies here, or developed railways, or shipping lanes and things like that. And the city, and then there's little throwaway texts that at first are very, very subtle until you start to look for them, where it talks about like there was a lot of creatures in this area who didn't really take kindly to the city doing this, but then the city never really asked them.
And there's a lot of parallels to like the big migration west and like the American frontier.
The belief in manifest destiny,
we're taming the wild. We're like the narrator even says like we're gonna make this a better place for them, the beasts, but they don't know it. They're just beasts. They're acting like
when you get into,
they're protecting their home, but they don't realize we're going to make it better for them. You're going and wipe it and like just wiping them out.
As he makes those lines, and the timing on some of those lines is perfect. Because as he's making those lines about how they don't understand that it's going to be a lot better for them once we're done, you're in combat destroying the creatures and stuff that live there.
But at the same time, you're like taking like an egg back to the Bastion, so you'll see like you'll have like little pets there who, whenever the Bastion is attacked, like all of those creatures that you get, the domesticated, will fight for you.
Yes.
And it's such a sad moment when you see I at least had one of them die. That was a like anger-inducing moment in me. That was just like, how dare you? I liked that I like that puff of smoke. How dare you?
Well, also there is something to be said about the fact that you're going out into these places, you're destroying 40, 50 of these creatures, and one of them comes back to the city and is now part of your one comes back to the Bastion and is now part of your thing. There's a lot to be said also about the fact that the entire game's purpose is you going out into the world, destroying things, killing things, and taking something from these places. Especially when you get to the second part of the game, which is about collecting shards. It basically makes you repeat what you did in the first time, because this whole game is about circles and about repeating processes,
repeating cycles of like whether it's building up or like cycles of generational never-ending conflict and stuff like
and generational sins, and repeating the crimes and the sins and the histories of the past. When you're going out and getting the shards and stuff like that, there's lots of talks about like these shards are owned by these creatures, or they're owned by this thing, and you went and you just took it because you needed it. You needed it, and for a good.
I need a better shack.
Well, I need it, but it's even more than that. I need it for the right reason. I need to restart the war. That's why I need to bring back what I had in the city, and damn the creatures that live here. I'm taking back what I had, which is something that comes into the ending for sure. But there's a lot of that where it's like, I am damn the consequences, I'm going to get what I want, you know. This game is very, very back heavy on story, but one of the big things that as you're rebuilding the Bastion, the narrator and the kids' culture is explained a lot more, and so is Zolf and Zia's culture. So one thing you learn is Zolf has went and he's found his people. His people did not completely get wiped out. It looks like they live in the underground. Is that kind of an accurate thing? That don't you go like
bit of the Arctic too? Because there's a lot of like we'll get to my favorite section of the game. I might as well just go ahead and talk about it. Is when you are going to go confront Zulf for the last time, and you are playing a multi-day montage.
And there's like
little clips where you fight like a couple monsters, and you walk forward, and it fades, and it's like day 3 night, and you're like sleeping on the frontier when you're attacked. Man, I've never seen. There might be others out there, but I've never seen a game do like a journey montage like that before. I was like losing my mind, going, "This is incredible."
At that point, you're stuck. Once that starts, the game even tells you something like, hey, this is the ending. We're going to be moving on. Are you sure you want to do this? And I don't see how you would stop once that starts anyway, because it's just such a driving force.
It's so compelling. Like, it's so good.
One of my favorite things is there's so many things to unpack here. And I apologize if we're rambling, but this is something that kind of it's not only is it something that hits you from a emotional point of view, but it also hits you from a analytical point of view.
And the thing is, I didn't have all of this stuff hit me until like days later. Just thinking about this game. This is a game that encourages you to just think about.
Just go and like think about as you do your day. Like it sticks with you.
And then I don't want to get too into like the stuff going on right now, but you see stuff on the news that kind of parallels some of this stuff. And I don't want to trivialize anything.
No.
I'm not. But now, don't want to trivialize anything and say, "Oh, it's like a video game." No, I'm not saying that. But you see stuff that helps you connect to the narrative in just a little bit better way.
Because it's not that it's like a video game, quote unquote. Yeah. What it is the message that this piece of media and art gave you is something that you can look at and you can see the message inside what's going on in the world today.
It's ongoing.
Yes. And one thing that I really enjoyed about this game, I mean, and you cannot deny it, is that it tries to show things from you literally have two people from both cultures, from different backgrounds. You have the narrator who you find out is actually tied to the project that created the Calamity.
He created the Bastion.
He made the Bastion.
He made the escape plan from the Calamity, basically, while Zia's father basically made the atomic bomb.
I mean, you cannot deny that this is a parallel to the atomic bomb in the Hiroshima and things like that. So, like, the fact that Zia's father was... Okay... You cannot... Okay, Zia's father is very, to me, a reference to things like Operation Paperclip, which if you know anything about World War II, in Operation Paperclip was, as World War II was kind of breaking down, Nazi scientists, German scientists that had worked on things like the V2 project and things like that were being snatched up by American and Russian forces in an attempt to help develop the atomic bomb and what would become the nuclear arms race. Because... it became very clear towards the end of World War II that the Russian-American allegiances were going to break down pretty fast. And so the fact that Zia's father is a member of this culture that the city was fighting and looking to wipe out, but was given a chance to walk off, quote unquote, his crimes to, walk on this project that was going to destroy his own people, is very, telling. But also you have all four of these people are from different points of view from both sides, right? So the narrator was in the middle of this stuff. He created the Bastion. He was in the know. The kid is an average citizen, a guy who his mother died. He died penniless. He went to the wall to try to make money to support his mother. When he came back, he had nothing, so he just went back to the wall. He's the common citizen of the city. And then you have Zia, who is an immigrant, someone facing all the challenges that those people face, while also kind of separated from what's happening but sort of involved. And then you have Zulf, who is from that culture and can see like the visual fear of they were trying to wipe us out. you have 4 people all coming from a different perspective, all looking at these events, and there's this just, especially once you get to that final quest as the kid goes out to find Zolf, there's just this,
and get Zia back, or was that
get
a little
Zia,
bit
well,
before?
get Zia back because Zia has disappeared now. At first, you believe Zolf kidnapped her, but then you learn
she went through her own volition because she's like, these are my people,
and she had to understand what was going on from Zolf's point of view, why Zolf was willing to not restart the world, and why Zolf was willing to take the steps that he was willing to take, because she has been kind of like almost emotionally cut off from her own heritage and her own people. Which is another fascinating freaking factor in this whole situation. When you are moving to do that quest, and there's a lot of interesting things there. The game at one point gives you like a jump button, like it builds up the difficulty of this quest. When you found, but it all boils down to, as you get there, you are now fighting the Ura. You are fighting these people, in this quest to get to Zolf, and when you are there, the Ura actually turn and fatally wound Zolf because they blame Zolf for leading you.
Yeah,
there.
because they were like, we followed Zolf because we thought he would like turn everything around for us. Instead, he brought the kid here, and the kid is now wiping us out on a multi-day long journey. Just continuously wiped out our forces.
The kid is almost repeating what the city wanted to do from the get-go. Like, he's to them, he's a representation of the city's mission and plan. Whether that's what the kid is going to do or not, because he is now, entering their home and systematically working his way to Zolf. So they blame Zolf. They're like, you brought this doom upon us. So and then he's betrayed by the people in his mind. He feels he's saving.
Then for the first time in this game, you're given a choice.
You're first of all given the most powerful weapon in the game, with the battering ram. And then after you come upon Zolf, who's been fatally wounded, he was a friend of yours at one point. He's the man who betrayed you.
He led the attack on you. So there's a lot of mixed feelings there when you see him. Like, you betrayed me, but also I get why.
You betrayed me. You burned everything I was walking towards. But
like literal hours of labor that you put into the
2
town.
hours before, I hated your guts and I wanted you dead. But on this trip of learning where you were coming from as a person, I now understand why you did the things you did. And then it gives you a choice where it says, you can carry Zolf. Zolf is alive. You can try to save him. But you're going to have to drop the battering ram, which is like your safety, your strength, your superiority over this enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to drop your superiority over your enemy to do this, or you can maintain that weapon and you can exit here and you can get this done. You have to choose though you can't have it both ways. And I picked my option, and then I watched a video on the other option.
Gotcha.
What did you pick?
I chose Zolf.
I chose Zolf also. But both ways are interesting. When you choose Zolf, the game, you're carrying him now. You're no longer carrying a weapon.
You're being shot at relentlessly by...
The game shows you before you make the choice.
Mm-hmm.
The whole path is guarded by like 40 to 50
You see the exit.
enemies.
You see where you need to get to.
And they're everywhere. Like, all your enemies are guarding it. So like, your brain tells you, I have to maintain the battering ram. I can't get through this without the violence that I need to bring. So do I show mercy, or do I show protection and attack and fight my way out? And
like,
by picking
at this
Zolf,
point, I was like, I'm probably going to die here, is what I was thinking. But I was like, I can't not make this choice.
When you pick Zolf, it was a tough choice for me. Like, I ain't gonna lie.
I thought about it for a minute.
I sat there and I thought to myself, I was like,
of course, playing it now in hindsight, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm obviously made the right choice. But in the moment, it's like,
I sat there and I was like, because at the point I didn't know if even bringing the Bastion was a good idea, because there was talks about the Bastion was not only a way to restart the ward, but it was also an evacuation method.
Yeah.
So there was also an option that you could use the Bastion to evacuate. And I was like, I don't know if I need, but I can't do it if I'm dead. So like I sat there and thought to myself, like, I need the battering ram to get through this. And by picking Zolf, you're carrying Zolf in your arms, and you're walking to the Ura, towards the Ura. And they attack you. Like they attack you like they have been. And you're taking damage, and the only thing you can do is walk.
You don't have to have your health bar, but as you're blinking, you can still hit the button to take a shot of the health potion. Yeah. So you just keep doing that to be like, I can just push a little bit further.
And they're just swarming you. You're getting hit by arrows, and you're under all this attack.
And there's a bit, it doesn't start turning until you reach about 2/3 of the way there where you're thinking in your mind, can I make it? Am I going to make this?
For me, I was like, I'm out of the health potions by now. I think I'm done. I'm gonna die. This is how this ends. I die in this long track. But then they stop. And they just watch. And they just watch as, from their point of view and from the ward, this city, former soldier, this destroyer of everything that came here destroying and fighting his way through them, carries this wounded Ura.
As we're
just
trying to kill him.
We're trying to kill him. He instead shows mercy. And you leave with Zolf.
Man.
Which is...
Talking through this moment is brought back everything in just one, punch.
The fact that... And it's this... All the way up to this point, you have been a force to be reckoned with. Everything that's came into your path has died. And here is this moment where you choose mercy. And the smartest thing is, they don't instantly not attack you. Because they've got centuries of you being a part of the system that destroys them and kills them. They got centuries of that built in. So they defend like they would any other time. And it takes time and it takes pain before they realize, wait, no, what's happening here? What's going on? And then this stop. It would have been such a tone-deaf answer if the moment you walked in there holding Zolf, no one attacked you. It would be a perfect ward, non-realistic situation.
It'd be triumphant.
It'd be triumphant.
Look at you. This bit is not triumphant at all.
Because it would be, look at you. You are such a merciful human being. Everyone goes, oh, look at what great you are, and everyone pats you on the back. No. There's been centuries of hate and hurt and pain.
It forces you to look at your character and what he's done and think back to all the stuff you did and all the things you heard about what your people did to them. And it's just, as you're getting pelted by arrows, it's just time to reflect on, these people want me dead. And there's no convincing them otherwise. Yeah. Until the point where you're just... They see how dedicated you are at saving their one life of theirs.
And a life that you have no reason in the ward to save. He betrayed you. He destroyed what you were trying to build. And when it all came down to it, you chose mercy over violence. And that walk it brings the whole game together.
That was the moment that absolutely clicked, where I was like, man, this game is great. I really, really like this game. Talking about it made me now at this point at this table, I was thinking, do I love this game now?
What?
Just having the conversation makes everything
for me, it's like whole. The game took on a completely different meaning at this moment. Mm-hmm. This is a beautiful video game moment. It's a beautiful piece of media and art.
I'm never going to forget this moment when...
Walking in the fact... it's such a smart thing, that the fact that it's not that you walk through unscathed. You take damage, it hurts, and it's tough. But the perseverance and the willingness to show that mercy finds traction throughout that. Mm-hmm. Is a beautiful moment. And it leads to another difficult choice. Because once you return to the Bastion... you now have the options of that there's a gear. And I find
the first item you get in the game to show off.
I found so much symbolism in this. And this is something that just dawned on me. The gear is a part of the city, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It is a part of the kid's history. It represents his people, and it represents everything that's happened before the calamity. You have carried that on your back this entire video game. And to spout everything you did, you carried the history of everything that came before you. And now you get to the end, and that's the part that triggers the Bastion. So all the things that's happened before, you now have to make a choice whether to use that to restart the world the way it used to be. You'll bring back the city, you'll bring back everything like it was brand new. There'll be no remembering of you guys. None of this will be remembered. And we'll just see what happens. Maybe the city doesn't do what it's going to do. Maybe the calamity never will happen. Maybe the Ura and the city find peace and love and happy-go-luckiness. Or maybe the city just goes and does it again. Or worse things happen. Or you can choose to use it to leave the world the way it is.
Let's move forward
and, we'll move
try to repair
with the crime,
it.
with the way the world is. And
do we risk repeating our history, or do we try to learn from it?
That's the point. This is just the gear thing just dawned on me. This is what I love about this game. There's so much to think about. You carry all your history with you to this exact moment, and do you choose to ignore your history, pretend like it didn't happen, and run the risk of making the exact same mistakes that you did before? Or do you own up to the history in which you live and choose to move forward with the knowledge and the things that you've done? And this is not a political statement. You cannot not find some level of symbolism and something you could apply to your life from those statements. Mm-hmm. It's impossible. It's literally impossible to do that. It's such this thing that you've been carrying, and it's a choice that it is not easy necessarily to make, because you could be the one who tries to be the hopeful one and be like, well, we'll bring everything back and maybe things will be better this time. But if you ignore the fact that none of the lessons you learned will be carried over, tells you chances are it doesn't. And here's a fun fact. I actually learned, if you compare the lines on the New Game Plus to the normal game, the New Game Plus starts with a line that is the same line at the end of the game.
So it's like
it's almost like the system repeats if you do.
And you're in a constant loop from then on.
So the only way to break the loop
is to move forward.
That's
beautiful.
And not repeat the system.
Man, what a game. What a game.
That is, there's not a lot left to talk about.
There's really not.
It's a beautiful sentiment. And it's a challenging sentiment. And it's an uncomfortable at times sentiment.
But at the same time, it's extremely optimistic. The ending leaves hope. That last shot of just all of you on the Bastion just traveling, exploring new frontiers. It has
it says that
it has a feeling of there's adventure to it, but also we have a new perspective that we can share and grow and learn from. It's hopeful, it's optimistic, and it is beautiful.
It's history can be rose-colored glasses. You can look back on moments in time in history and idolize them and pretend that they were beautiful and perfect, and not see the crimes and the hate and the negative that they hid. Because it's easy when you look back. You can look back at a time and be like, look how great that was compared to now. Now sucks, but back then was so great. And we could only go back to then. But it's because history has a tendency to remove the parts that were uncomfortable, or remove the parts that were difficult, or remove the parts that were just straight up horrible crimes. And so
And things that were probably easy for one group was probably the most trying and difficult times
history is
for
written
different
by
groups.
the victors.
Exactly.
Like, you can't argue that point, that the ones who benefited the most from history are the ones who usually write the history, and they have a tendency to leave out everybody else. And it's scary to take your history and not try to just live in the past, because that forces you to move forward, and it forces you to move forward into the unknown. If you always do things the way you always done, you'll know what the results are. But if you have to move on, you have to face a new day. So 4 people from 4 different backgrounds can either go off and try to see if they can make a world that's different, that doesn't repeat the history of itself, or you can just go back to the way things were and hope for the best. And there's only one right answer. Like, the answer is that you don't restart the Bastion. You don't restart the world. You
end the game.
You end the game. You end the cycle. You choose to use your history to end the cycle instead of just repeating it.
Exactly.
And that's a beautiful sentiment.
I think this discussion made me love this game. I was really positive on this game, but as we talked about over this past hour, man, this game is something special.
This game, in year 2021, can speak to you and try to teach you something even more than when it came out.
I say so, yes.
And at the time it came out, it had a message, and that message was valid. But sitting here in 2021, this message is more valid than I think it was back then.
I think so too.
And I feel like you can listen to us on this show talk about this game, and I hope you all enjoyed it. But to experience this game and to experience the journey that it's trying to take you on is the entire purpose. And this is just I hate the argument games aren't art. Because some games are art, some games aren't art. Some things are fun, some things aren't. Not all. I worked in the art world for 10 years. Fun fact about me. Some pictures are art. Some pictures are just a blue background. That's the weird thing about art. Art is what you make it.
It's to that picture of the blue background, someone might find something deeply profound in it. Someone might just say, it's a blue wall.
It's a blue wall.
Everything means something different to everyone.
Yes. And to me, Bastion is a piece of art. Absolutely.
I think it's a game, the top tier game, one of the top tier games in the argument you can make for video games are art, which is such a nonsensical argument to make, because of course it is, right?
Of course. And I know 2 guys on a video game podcast are going to say video games are art, but the fact that the conversation we just had was spurred by this game, that's art.
Absolutely.
Art makes you think about things. Art makes you question the world around you, and it makes you sometimes uncomfortable. This could be a game that if you're somebody from a certain place in your life, it might make you uncomfortable.
I don't want to live through this, and that's a perfectly valid reaction to have for something like this.
Yes. But sometimes I encourage you, and this is just something as a person, I encourage you sometimes to experience things that might make you a little uncomfortable. Because sometimes uncomfortable is making you reevaluate things. You know what I mean? And if this is a game that you play and you feel a little bit uncomfortable with the message behind it, that's a valid response. But it also means that maybe just explain to yourself and look at yourself why it makes you uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Would be what I would encourage you. I'm not saying that you have an invalid response. I'm saying that I encourage you to try to see the root of where it's coming from. Because that's very, very important in art that makes you feel a certain way. But I wholeheartedly suggest this video game to anybody.
Absolutely.
It's simple enough, and there is the mode that lets you just have unlimited continues. I don't think it's necessary because the game's not very hard. But
at the same time, I feel like the message of this game being so poignant, this is a game that if you're just a casual player. Like, have somebody who doesn't usually play games try this game out, and I'm sure they will walk away, if they finish it and really delve into the themes, they will find something absolutely meaningful here.
You have to be not wanting to look for something. This game makes me feel the same way when I finish the game Gone Home. You ever play Gone Home?
I haven't played Gone Home.
It's very, very good. Very, very good. I would love to do it for the show. Gone Home was an experience that I played through that game in, I think, 2 hours, one night, middle of the night. It was just, I played through it one sitting. And the messages and the feelings and the stuff like that, that was a game that was a story-based game. Like, there was no gameplay really to it. But the feelings that it provoked and the willingness to kind of sit there and let it show a message is similar to this. And
the beginner's guide was one, like, similar to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Like a game you can finish in like an hour, but sticks with you for a lot longer than an hour.
That's what I love about video games.
Yes.
I love that we can sit here and talk about Bastion and have these kind of conversations, and then I could be sitting on my
Summer
couch.
of Arcade game from 2011. Like, hey, look at this happy little lineup of games. You're not gonna leave feeling like having existential dread at the end of it.
I love that we can do that, and then we can also play a game like Doom Eternal, where you just run around freaking shotgunning demons in the face.
Or our next game.
Or our next game. Like, that's the joys of this hobby, is this hobby has so many abilities to be so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's all valid. Playing a Call of Duty game in an afternoon or a Friday night with your friends is a valid video game experience, just like sitting in your room playing Bastion and having thoughts about what it means to carry your history of your culture with you and what you learn from your history. Both of those are valid video game experiences from a same hobby, and that's beautiful. It's beautiful. These are the shows that come around like once a season. Last season was Life is Strange, where we all sit around and talked about our feelings. This season is Bastion.
Let's delve into imperialism and just a whole bunch of
imperialism, genocide, what it means to
have identity in your culture,
identity crisis among yourself and what you represent, who you are as a person. That little gear on your back.
Man.
And I'm gonna probably a few days later after when we do this show goes up, I always listen to it the day before to just make sure there's no like weird kinks or the audio issues that we can fix or something. And probably when God damn it.
I had to break.
We're being so serious.
I was waiting for a moment to break the tension.
We're being so serious, but I'll probably think of things I wish I said today. But
absolutely, I know that's.
It's a beautiful freaking video game.
Man.
I get it.
Man.
Let's do me a favor. We're gonna take a break real fast.
Yeah, I need to decompress for a second.
Before we do the announcement of a new game, because it's gonna be. We need some music between this and our new game. So, be right back. And now for something completely different.
Hope you enjoyed that music segue.
I hope so too. My bladder really enjoyed it, because God knows. But hey, my favorite thing about this show, we can go from in-depth conversations and feelings and emotions to being like, you know what's really fun?
Throwing eggs at teachers.
Yes! That's right, because our next game will be Bully. I am immensely sad. I'm very satisfied that we're going to do this game. This game is obviously made by Rockstar. If you don't know Rockstar, where have you been? They're the publisher and developer of not the publisher, but developer of Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, like Superstar.
Smuggler's
publisher.
Run.
Yeah, Smuggler's Run. But Superstar developer.
You forgot table tennis.
Yeah, table tennis for some damn reason. What a weird life we live. But Bully, originally released on the PlayStation 2, the kind of like the darling of Rockstar's lineup. It never got a sequel. It's one of those things that was well received at the time. I believe it sold well. It was, popular, but
I have a little breakdown here of some stuff that we can talk about.
Yeah,
because Bully is a fascinating video game.
Let's put this as also in a spot here. This is like post San Andreas.
This is the game after San Andreas,
which is insane. San Andreas, Jack Thompson's like.
Oh, I get into some Jack Thompson in this.
Like, Michael, break it down. Talk to me about Bully.
Bully is a third-person open-world action-adventure game developed by Rockstar Vancouver. And this game was developed using an upgraded version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas' engine through Renderware. Renderware engine developed by Criterion.
By Criterion, the guys who developed that engine that blew up your freaking computer.
Not long after the game's announcement at E3 2005, the game was met with a huge wave of controversy from media outlets of various political leanings, politicians, and anti-bully activist groups, all before the game was even given a rating by the ESRB.
Wow, are you telling me that people freaked out about something when they didn't actually look into what it is?
The gun was jumped mainly because of Rockstar's history with violent video games, mainly the GTA series.
Everybody was convinced that you were going to play as a 12-year-old who was banging hookers and doing coke.
Critics thought the game was going to either A, trivialize the problem of bullying in America, or B, that it was going to be a, quote, Columbine simulator.
You mean, oh, wow. That's a word that I did not think I was going to hear. This is the thing about Stay the Save, guys. You can have a whole long conversation about what it means to carry your culture's history. And now we have to use the word Columbine simulator.
The game was banned in Brazil as a result of the controversy. It would be lifted in 2016 when Bully was released digitally on the PS4.
Remember when games got banned in like countries and there was always like Australia was banning like every
the
other
South
video
Park
game.
Well, they didn't ban, they censored the South Park game to where like a certain scene happened and they just immediately plastered it going, you can't watch this scene, and then gave a description of what was happening.
Now, was that the Stick of Truth one?
The Stick of Truth.
Okay, now
it was the section with the underpants gnome specifically.
Not the section in which you have to dodge your father's balls.
Yeah, that was one of the...
That, guys, if you like, I like to think of myself as a man with some refined comedic talents, and not talents, I got no talent, but like comedic taste. I like my comedy to have a little bit of a little bit more to it. But damn, that video game when it's like, here, have this section of this RPG battle where you gotta hit a quick time event to dodge your father's balls coming down and smacking into you. I was like, son of a bitch, South Park. Y'all did it. What a weird fucking video game. Okay, continue.
Jack Thompson, a Florida attorney, maybe you've heard of him.
The fact that we mentioned him on this show is now on his like hit list. He's like somewhere he's like scrubbing in his little cave where he's living in. State of the Save.
He took the game to court to stop the game from shipping, where Take-Two Interactive provided an early copy of the game for the judge to play. The next day, which sometimes stuff in the legal system takes a little long.
Usually it takes a while.
The next day, the judge ruled in favor of Rockstar, saying that there was no objectionable content that you wouldn't find on like late night TV.
Because here's the weird, surprising thing.
I could just see the judge going, "What's the issue here?"
Like, I have not played Bully. You've played Bully, right?
Multiple times. I love Bully.
But here's the thing: no one that had any sense of like intelligence in their head thought that Bully was going to come out and be any of the things that Jack Thompson was claiming it was going to be. Like, no one had those thoughts. It was literally just the Grand Theft Auto people are putting out a different game, and it is set in a school. Clearly, they must be just doing Grand Theft Auto freaking middle school. Like,
the controversy died down after the game was shipped to media outlets. USA Today writing that the controversy was meritless after their short 2-hour preview.
Almost like you should probably wait and judge things by the content, not by what you think the content is going to be. Almost like if you look deeper into things, generally you have a better understanding of them. What a weird concept.
The game released on October 16th, 2006 for the PlayStation 2, selling 1.5 million copies by 2008 and receiving good reviews. Almost like the controversy helped a little bit in its favor. Because all of a sudden, every 13-year-old wanted to play Bully.
Dude.
Every 13-year-old yeah.
That's the thing.
That checks out. That checks out.
Dude,
like,
that's
like,
the thing that
it's
none of
it's
these
rated
people...
T. I can play this one.
That's the thing none of these people understand. When you freak out and you get on your soapbox on stuff, 9 times out of 10, the only thing you're doing is when you're yelling, we gotta protect the kids, the only thing you're making it happen is the kids being like, I gotta check out that shit. Like, okay, Ice-T had a song called Cop Killer. You ever hear the song Cop Killer?
I think this is the second time we brought this
I brought up Cop Killer before. But it is a shitty song. But, like, freaking Nancy Gore, whatever her name was all over TV being like, we gotta protect the children from the Tipper Gore was all freaked out and on TV being like, we gotta protect the children from this nasty hip-hop. And all the kids went out and got that freaking CD and they're like, we're gonna blast this song. Like, that's all you're doing. When I was a young teenager, and we would go and we would get the metal shirts that had all the pentagrams and the 666. Like, it was entirely fact of, like, we are going to be the most obnoxious, quote-unquote, edgy people we can be because I am 17 and y'all going to know what's going down. That's all it is. Like, I don't understand why these guys do not grasp this concept. It's the little Nas shoes thing. Where, like, people were like, Nike's making Satan shoes. The only thing that happened was people were like, I gotta get me some of those shoes.
An updated version of Bully, which I believe is the version we're playing, released on the PC, Wii, and Xbox 360 in 2008. And a mobile version was released for the game's 10th anniversary.
We're not going to play the mobile version.
We're not going to play the mobile version. And a sequel has been rumored for years, with various concepts and cancellation cited.
Now, I'm going to be playing this on my Xbox One. You're going to be playing this on the Xbox?
Xbox, yeah.
Okay. You got a copy.
I have a PS2 copy, but I was like, do I want to hook up my PS2 again, or do I want to play the 360 version backwards compatible? I could also, it's on the PS4 store. I could, but I looked at prices, it was actually cheaper for me to get the 360 updated version shipped to me through Amazon. So
yeah, I'm just going to buy it on the store, you can just download it on there. I did check first because apparently San Andreas on the store is the mobile version of San Andreas. So I was like, oh crap, I hope this ain't the mobile version, but it's not apparently. Apparently you're legit to buy it on there and have a decent time. I am very much looking forward to this game.
This is a game, we have to take in mind, like other games we played, this is a game of the time. This is 2006 peak teenage humor. So this is a very interesting game, but we're going to have a lot of fun discussions with this game. I haven't played this game in its entirety probably since like 2009 or 2010. So it's been like 10 years since I've played Bully all the way through.
You need to take this into consideration also. This is what I said when we talked about No More Heroes. It's what I said when we talked about Grim Fandango. Try to put your mindset at the time so you can kind of fully grasp and enjoy this game. I think this is going to be really, really good. What's the section we're playing up to?
The game is divided into 5 chapters. Being an open world game, I kind of want to overload us, so this is going to be a 3-part journey. So this is going to take June is the month of Bully.
June is the month of Bully.
Every other week in June is going to be a Bully episode. Woo!
And
so
also,
the first discussion will cover the first 2 chapters of Bully. Bully divided into 5 chapters. So how I have us doing this is chapters 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and the last section is 5. There's a 6th chapter, but the 6th chapter is just, hey, explore the open world.
it's literally like, it's what all good open world games do at the end. It's like, now do all the side stuff you want to do.
Yeah, I feel like this will be having only 1 chapter for our last discussion kind of gives us a chance to like wrap the whole story up and kind of cover any of the side content that we didn't talk about while playing this.
100%. I think that's a great plan. I'm also excited. I'm 99.9% sure that we're going to have a special guest join us for this game. We'll leave that as a surprise. But as far as I know, that person's ready to go. So we're going to have a third seat.
Our listeners' imaginations are running wild. Who could it be?
Special guest. Maybe it's the person that recently liked one of our TikToks.
It's not. It was an Instagram post, and it's not going to be her.
Who liked our Instagram post, Michael?
I posted a podcast clip from, I believe it was the first episode of No More Heroes on our Instagram, and then got a notification that Alanah Pearce liked our podcast clip, and I was at work at the time, and I almost fell out of my chair, going, "What?"
Every once in a while, over here at Stay of the Save, we rub shoulders with all the video game insiders and elites.
Alanah Pearce is not the guest on the show.
Who knows, man? Get them to come back. Don't be telling them that. People are going to be like, "Hey, man, they're really in like with like the video game insiders now." Like they're going to think we're legit. Like I described our show.
What I learned from Cyberpunk is set people's expectations really high. And then when you tear him down, you're only going to get the utmost respect.
That's just going to mess up our guests, too. Like, when first thing he says, they're going to be like, "Wait a second." People are going to be real. We're going to be getting some reviews then, man.
We don't want Booster.
Yeah, we don't want Booster.
Call back to our Christmas discussion and the underrated Christmas classic Jingle All the Way.
Yes, great movie.
Fantastic movie.
Forever a part of this show. No, I think this is going to be great. Also, really cool that she liked our Instagram post. If you want to be cool like her, you can go follow us on Instagram at State of the Save.
And TikTok at
State of the Save.
Twitter at State of the Save.
Some could say it's where all the cool people are hanging out. Just saying. But yeah, thank you for liking our post. We appreciate it. It made our day. We got all excited. But, dude, like, I really think this is going to be a great show, great episode. One thing I love about the show, I say it all the time, we can go from playing a game like Bastion to go play Bully. And then after Bully, it might be something else completely crazy.
We haven't thought that far ahead.
We have no clue what we're playing next. You can send suggestions in the stateofthesave@gmail.com.
If you want a particular game that you want on the show that we might check out in the future, that'd be a good place to send us your suggestions for game clubs you want to see in the future, any file corrupted topics you want to hear us talk about in the future. There is a new season of that new Castlevania show out.
I'm going to go ahead and give y'all some teasers. You know, we've talked about doing the new season of Castlevania. What will be, I guess, the last season of Castlevania.
I don't remember. I don't know what we said on a mic and off a mic.
We did not say any of this on mic.
Okay.
but I'm saying it on mic now, kind of tell people what we've been thinking. Got to keep y'all in the loop. We've also, obviously, E3 is approaching. What kind of video game podcast would we be if we didn't do something around E3?
I believe you get your license revoked if you...
Yeah. Jeff Keighley shows up at your house and kicks you in the balls.
Well, Jeff Keighley's doing his own thing this year, so he's not going to be a part of that.
Can we crash Jeff Keighley's thing? Like, just everybody go on the feed there, just be stay safe. We're gonna take all that Jeff Keighley money.
I love being blacklisted.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing.
Yeah. Let's go fight the most powerful guy in the video game industry.
He's got connect. He knows Kojima.
Like, I don't mess with him. So do the guys from Mega 64 though. So I think we could do something with Kojima if we wanted to. But then again, he might listen to our Metal Gear Solid show and be like, "Screw these guys! I'm never hanging out with them."
I need to play more Death Stranding. Anyway, that's what I took from that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But we have a lot of cool ideas. Maybe there's another file corrupted next week. we'll talk about that.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe Michael, we'll put that on social media if there is or isn't. How about that? That way we can keep y'all in the loop if there's going to be a file corrupted.
That sounds like a good place to look for future episodes.
Exactly, especially remember, iTunes screwed us over and didn't put the last episode up for non-subscribers. If you subscribe, it's almost like you got 2 episodes this week because you got Resident Evil Part 2, which, if I do say so myself, is a damn fine episode. And then you got Bastion. So, go make sure you do your subscribing if you're Viva iTunes, or you can be on the plethora of other cool other cool apps to listen to podcasts on, like Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, all those other cool places that we're on.
And just like the journey of Bastion, we ended the show the same way we began, by trashing Apple.
It's all circular.
It's all beautiful. But now we can go off on our own. Now that we know our past, we can journey on and play a game where we can throw eggs at students and push kids in the lockers and everything.
Yes.
I am very excited for bullying.
As always, thank you guys for joining us. We will see you on the flip side. Stay safe out there, and
don't drink and drive. Are we just throwing out things now?
There used to be a guy on the radio on the rock station who used to, every time he signed off, would be like, "I'm off like a prom dress," and I always listened to that and thought to myself,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm like, always.
This is the longest outro to a podcast ever.
It's very late, and I'm living off of caffeine right now. But he always did that, and I saw he opened up Metallica. He introduced Metallica when I went and saw Metallica 12 years ago, and he said it there. It's just a thing he says when he's placing.
That's it. Of all the catchphrases,
he literally came out and goes, "It's blah blah blah," from whatever radio station that was. I don't even remember anymore. And he goes, "And I'm really excited to tell y'all Metallica is coming out. So everybody put together your hands for Metallica, and I'm off like a prom dress." And ran off. I'm like, what the? Why? And then,
I'll tell you why. We're talking about it.
I hate that guy.
Why.
But we are also off like a prom dress, I guess. Everything's falling off the rails.
I'm broken. I can't.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Broken.
Hang in there. We'll see you when we see you. Like and subscribe, all that fun stuff. Stay safe out there.